and my name is Alison. My level of WSET is up to level 4, which is the diploma. Today I'm here to talk about level 3, wines of Valpolicella. I just have a few questions to refresh you. First of all, what is the main grape variety of Valpolicella?
Corvina.
Excellent. What is the highest geographical indication within Italy and this region?
DOCG.
Excellent. And what type of climate would you expect to find in this region here?
Basically continental.
Excellent. That's great. So now I'm just going to explain to you all the different learning outcomes and the assessment criteria. Our learning outcome today will be explain how the natural and human factors influence the production of wines and describe the styles of wines produced in Valpolicella. The assessment criteria is to apply knowledge of the natural factors to explain reasons for the site selection, the style of the wines produced in Valpolicella. Apply knowledge of human influences in the vineyards to explain techniques used for the growing of grapes suitable for the production of the wines in Valpolicella. Identify, describe the styles of wines produced from the Corvina in Valpolicella, and finally apply knowledge of winemaking techniques to explain the options used for the production of wines in Valpolicella. Now we're just going to look at this map here, and I'm going to describe the area. This is very similar to the previous lesson we had of Soave. With Soave Classico and Soave, we have Valpolicella and Valpolicella Classico. The whole region here is skirted by the River Po, has the Adriatic Sea over to the east, and to the north we have the Alps and the Lake Garda here. Now, as previously mentioned, it's continental climate, but there are some influences. So the Adriatic Sea will bring warmer climes, and the Alps and the lake will bring cooler weather. So therefore, the vineyards near the hills will be cooler, and then the plains will be warmer, which will lead to two different styles of wine production. Also, talking about the differences, the soils. We have the limestone and we have the volcanic soils up to the north, and we have the plains in the south, which are predominantly sand and gravel. And also the Alps are covered here, are protected from rain as well, which will come down. Also, the soils will also influence in this area here for drainage as well, difference in drainage. Previous lessons you studied on viticulture methods will be used as well. So, first of all, we're just going to move on to the next slide and talk about the Corvina grape. So this grape, as you said, is the grape of Valpolicella. It is a medium-sized grape with two little wings, which distinguishes it. Now, one of the problems it has thin skins, like the Pinot Noir. Right? Can anybody tell me what you think there might be problems with these thin skins and produce?
Liable to rot and mildew. Also possibly overheat in strong sunshine.
Yeah, excellent. That's great. Yeah, especially in the most northerly slopes where they have more sun. They basically are protected by the pergola system to protect them from this problem. And then basically, what is the style of wine between... Oh, hang on, sorry. Just move on to the next slide, please. What is the style of wine of Valpolicella mainly?
It's a simple wine. It's a red wine, obviously red grape, so red wine. Not particularly high in acidity, tannins, but high in acidity. Easy drinking. They that's the main. I think that's the main Valpolicella.
Yeah, excellent. It's a very simple wine made in the plains here. How about the Valpolicella Classico?
It comes from up on the hills, is the older region. It's sort of the better quality, richer, more full-bodied, more intense, can age better.
Excellent. That's great. So what we have here is we have two different areas totally. So what do you think about the viticulture? Because you've got the plains here to the west, no, to the east, sorry, and then you've got the mountains to the west and north. So the viticulture, how do you think that will be different between the two styles?
Well, I think on the lower ones, I think it will probably be fairly basic. But as you said, once they get up into the hills, they'll be more selective. They'll have the slopes to contend with, different soil, lower yields.
Yeah, excellent. I'm glad you mentioned that, lower yields, totally. Because in the plains, it's a simple wine, so you're going to get higher yields. And maybe machinery is used lower in the plains. And how about drainage?
Drainage would be better up on Classico because you're almost coming down to sort of floodplain to the River Po, so water table is going to be high.
And how about changing temperatures?
Cooler on the higher slopes in Classico.
Excellent. So what about during the day and the evening and the temperature difference?
Well, on the plains it's likely to be hotter, but you're up on the slopes, although those slopes they are facing south, they will be hotter perhaps during the day, but then they'll cool more quickly at night.
Perfect. So, what will this mean for the wine then, in that area further north, the Classico area?
Well, it should be more perfumed, better aromas, sort of change of temperature day to night, allow for a longer ripening period.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How about acidity levels?
Should retain acidity, so the acidity shouldn't drop as quickly as it will do on the plains.
Excellent, that's brilliant. Now moving on, there's 3 different styles of wines within this region. We've already spoken about the fresh one, the simple style. We have dried grapes, Passamento, and Ripasso style. So, can anybody mention a style of wine which is used with dried grapes?
Well, it is the Amarone, isn't it?
That's right. Yes, well done. Amarone style. So, I'm going to talk about these styles now. So, Amarone, as you rightly said just now, is a wine which is dried. So they leave the drying normally in these lofts, but it can be more sort of inside a loft with doors open to allow the airflow. But in recent years they have used purpose buildings have been built with air conditioning, and this prevents more of your rot which you don't really want on the grapes. So they have these, and what they do in here is they dry the grapes, whole bunch dry, for about 3 months. They then put them in a vat to start the fermentation, and then after that they age them. So what is going to happen when you've got a drier grape?
Well, you get some more concentration of fruit, higher sugars, shrivelled fruit as well. So you won't get so much. Yes, you won't get so much juice out of it.
Excellent. They're going to be dehydrated.
Yes.
Perfect. So we're going to get more sugars. So when fermentation happens with these more sugars, what will be produced?
More alcohol.
Excellent. Yeah, perfect. So an ordinary style, these dried styles and Amarone, is going to be higher in alcohol, and also, what else will it add to the wine?
Richness.
Perfect. Richer, more body, and then also the tannins as well will increase slightly. So now we're moving on to our Ricciotta della Valpolicella. So this is made exactly the same way, but what happens is they dry the skins even more. Okay, so that will, as you mentioned previously, mean that there's more sugars. So what will happen in that process? What happens if there's more sugars in the wine during fermentation?
It should get higher alcohol, but it can also stop fermenting.
Excellent, that's brilliant. It can stop fermentation. So what happens, this ricotta is actually a sweeter wine because it has stopped the fermentation process. So then we have our last one I'm going to talk about is Valpolicella Ripasso. So Ripasso is our normal simple Valpolicella wine, which is then fermented, and then what happens to it, the skins of the Amarone, just before the end of fermentation of the Amarone, are then moved into your simple wine. And what happens then with the skins? What else would be on skins, or what would the skins be made of, the debris be made of, when we add it to the simple wine?
Well, be grape skins and some yeasts.
Excellent, and sugars as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So this therefore then you have re-fermentation. So what does re-fermentation do? What would that do to the wine you have, your simple wine?
Well, make it more alcoholic, give it more body, more structure, more richness,
Yes.
more alcohol.
A bit more tannins. Excellent.
Yeah.
A bit. Yes. Perfect. So those are the three. More tannins as well. So I'm just going to move on to our last stage, and this one is just to recap on what you've learnt in this session. So if somebody could just explain, first of all, starting with the viticulture differences in these two examples here, and then moving on to the winemaking. So
The Valpolicella down on the plain probably gets more cooling breezes from the Adriatic in the east. It's a different soil, machine harvested, that sort of thing, or are we moving?
it wouldn't actually. It's going to be warmer.
Warmer
Okay,
down there,
yeah, warmer
right.
because it got the Adriatic,
Yes.
the heat. The cooler climate is going to be further up towards the west.
Then the Ripasso is, because it's from Classico, so it's up on the hills, so it's much more structured, more tannic, richer, a better quality wine, lower yields, has the ability to age more.
Yes, perfect. Ageing as well. That's a very good point because we haven't touched on that yet. But the ageing of the wine, also the acidity levels will be higher as well because it's going to be up in the hills. And then also, so the viticulture side, you're going to have more of a simple wine here, higher yields. Okay. And also you're going to have more probably machinery. This one here has got a lot of cooling influences. Has everybody got any questions to ask?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.